What effect could the allowance of the pipeline have on the Pinelands legislative protections?
Well, it undermines it. It really does. It's contrary to what is in the charter, really, for the Commission and the Pine Barrens and protection of the Pine Barrens themselves. So you have to think about it very carefully to allow this. This would be an exception. It's a place of recreation for so much of our population that it serves an economic function as well as just an environmental function. And to put that in jeopardy in any way with something that, again, that so sort of flies in the face of what the charge is for protecting the pinelands, seems to me we got to think long and hard about doing something like that.
There's always going to be pressure from people who have an opportunity to profit by bending and breaking the rules. So what we're hoping is that the Pinelands Commission will hold its ground and say, we don't want to set a precedent for bending and breaking rules purely for the sake of some company or some small group of people to profit. If we do that, then we're going to see a continual erosion of the plan. And like I say, the plan didn't even set out to save the entire Pine Barrens, only a portion of the Pine Barrens. So we've already had enough compromise. If you got 10 slices of pie and you already compromised by giving 8 of them away, when it's time to fight over the last 2 pieces, it's no longer the right time to talk about compromise. The compromise has already happened. We got what we got. Let's keep what we got.
And with any set of rules, with any plan for the future, if you begin to violate it because a given applicant has political power and money, you're going to lose that plan. It's going to die, either all at once or through the death of 1,000 cuts. They have used the grossest of political tactics, including, most recently, an effort by the governor and the Senate president, the most powerful Republican and the most powerful Democrat in New Jersey, to replace people on the Pinelands Commission who voted against the pipeline the first time around in order to allow South Jersey Gas to come back for a second bite of the apple and say, oh, now we'll get the approval because we've simply removed people who voted their conscience and voted to implement the rules as written.
But right now, this is like, I'm kind of offended. One of our members, over something they have no control over, gets recused, then we all are at jeopardy at really expressing why we're here. Because somebody can do something and undermine us if they want to, and just get us out the way. We have nothing to do with that.
They've already stacked the Pinelands Commission with yes votes for the pipeline. That's a done deal. It has nothing to do with reliability. It's nothing to do with the stability of electricity in this area. It is only to do with profit. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And the sad thing is that we're the ones who'll have to pay for it, to pay for our own destruction.
A few miles of these pipelines are going to be underwater bodies, streams, rivers, and wetlands, such as what you see here. So they actually drill horizontally under these water bodies. And during that process, they use drilling fluids or drilling mud, which is mostly a clay or a bentonite. But it's not uncommon for, during that process, because it's under pressure, during this drilling, for that drilling mud to come through the bottom of the water body. There was a huge spill that just occurred just a few months ago in Ohio, where they lost 2 million gallons of drilling mud into a wetland. And the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency estimates that it will take decades for that ecology, the wetland ecology, to come back to its natural state.
It's not an either or. It's not jobs or protecting the Pine Barrens. We can still have jobs. We can still have energy. There are different ways of doing it, but we really ought to be very careful about endangering in any way such an important part. It's really also very much about protecting the water supply for literally hundreds of thousands of people, which will become far more expensive if you have to put in any kind of a plant, any kind of a man-made system to purify that water and recharge that water from the aquifer. So there are real economic reasons besides the fact that having it as pristine and pure as it is does bring tourism dollars. So this is not a zero-sum game, and we have to get away from that mindset and understand we can protect the Pine Barrens at the same time ensure that we continue to have economic growth in the state.